more to outrageous, and he doesn't get more outrageous than he has been for the last quarter of an hour. I've discovered your problem, Maurice. And the problem
Yes, yes, I'm sure you have. I'm sure that people are looking to discover my problem for many years, and all of a sudden, in 5 minutes, you can discover my problem. What is my
It's
problem?
very simple. It's called Trumpitis. You're a
Oh, for
Jew.
God's
You should be cuddling the Trump man, and there you are shouting off again. I've noticed from your feed on your Facebook that I'm not the only one to say this.
Look, hold on a minute. It's called Trump Delusion ISIS, or TDS, or something like that. No, TTS syndrome. So Trump Delusion Syndrome. That's what it's
No,
called.
I'm impressed. I mean, you're as a dyslexic.
Yeah,
You
okay.
shouldn't be able to
Yeah,
manage that, but you
yeah.
have.
Okay. So let's start with Trump. First of all, he's done some great stuff. I just can't remember what it is. And of course, someone wrote today to say that they were discussing this thing on for Harris Faulkner. 90% of your listener, you notice I said listener, wouldn't know who Harris Faulkner is. Harris Faulkner is a host on Fox News and one of the top shows called Faulkner and Friends, like it's called. And he put me in there by saying I was on it talking about my syndrome of delusion syndrome of Trump. Poor man, he must have been hallucinating when he saw it, or think he saw it. So I wrote about that just now. Yes, okay, there is complaints in the complaints department, which is this part of my brain, on Trump. Let's just start off very quickly with Mamdani, the mayor of New York, Trump's hometown. And he's a Democrat, so obviously when he was running as mayor, Trump, as a Republican president, destroyed him in every way that he normally does. Called him a communist, called him every name, an anti-Semite, every name under the sun, because Mamdani made it quite clear that he supports the Palestinian cause, that he doesn't want any Israeli goods in New York. And there's a big today, or yesterday, a very big anti-Israeli parade yet again, calling for the death of the Israelis or something. Anyway, so then he was, as the president of America, mayors do visit him in the Oval Office. And it was the most anticipated meeting yesterday, so Trump said, by the amount of press. He said there was hundreds standing outside the White House, plus the people who were in the Oval Office who were invited in from the press. And so he said there was hundreds outside. So if Trump says that there's hundreds outside, that means there's 3 or 4 people outside. But he did say when they were waiting, and why it was anticipated, because Trump has been so bad-mouthing Mamdani, I can't even pronounce it properly. He's been bad-mouthing him since the day he won the election. And Trump said, I'd never go there. As soon as he came in, Trump said, I'm so honored to have you here. You're wonderful and superb on what you do. And one of the press asked Trump, but would you live in New York again under Mamdani? And Trump said, yes, of course I would. Of course I would. I think, oh my God.
Maurice, 2 things I've got to say very quickly. Number one, politics in America is quite different from the United Kingdom.
No, go on.
Edgy, you've got to put that into account. Secondly, this is the way Trump deals with people. It's jaw and not war. Now that's got to be a credit to him.
Listen, I have nothing against Trump saying to the mayor of Mamdani when he comes to the Oval Office, thank you for coming to see me, Mr. Mayor. Let's discuss some points here, blah, blah. But licking his you-know-what in public, it did make me feel a bit ill. But more important to that, and that was what really prompted people to write, I didn't like also with the murdering Prince of Saudi Arabia. What really got me there was he turned around in front of the press, and when the press questioned him, and that's what they're there for, the press to give. Look, I'm doing a Trump here now. To give questions to the guests, who this time was the Prince, Hami Booby of Saudi Arabia, which of course ordered the murder of Khashoggi, the Washington Post reporter, which has never been denied, and it's always quite public. Trump turned on the reporter that asked him. I turned on her to the point where he said, I think she was from ABC television, I want you to lose your license. You're a horrible person. It's nearly as bad as calling her a piggy. I'm sorry, he did that on the plane yesterday. Called one of the reporters, keep quiet, piggy. This is a wonderful president of America.
The press love him. Can you
Of
imagine
course.
4 years of Biden, where it was all scripted at best, and now Trump actually, it's enjoyable watching him, whether he's
It's a it's a comedy show, but this unfortunately he's the most powerful man in the world. Now let's go to the point. Oh yes, he did turn around and he said he turned to his new pal, the prince, because he got a couple of $1 trillion off him. He said he knew nothing about this murder of Khashoggi. This is what Trump said. Well, how does he know that he knows nothing? But anyway, you're right. He is a comedy show. Absolutely. A one-man comedy show. One of the best. One of the best.
Maurice. I'm going to break this argument right open. And I'm going back to last week. And you
Good.
were having a rant, which is not a bad thing, about Trump, as usual.
No,
And
it's
you
not
were
as
saying,
usual. You asked me the question. People come at me because they try to get me to open up. And
well,
they know what I
no,
feel
no,
about
no.
Trump.
You said clearly that
Yeah.
he would never release the Epstein tapes. And I said, yes, he would. And he has done this very.
No, hold on a minute. Hold on
Get
a minute.
out of that.
Yeah, okay. Number one, he said a few things when he was running for president this time. His promises. One of his promises, we all know, that he knows Putin very well, and he knows before he even takes office in the White House, he will finish the war in Ukraine. We all know that was absolute rubbish, but it was part of his campaign to get voted in. But the thing that he said about the Epstein files and the John F. Kennedy files, he said, as soon as I get in office, I'll release those files. Well, 1 year on, you say they're released. They're not all released.
Well, now
What he
that's
said that Pam Bondi, that
no,
fucking,
no,
excuse me,
no,
that weirdo, Pam Bondi, his attorney general, has the right to hold back anything that she thinks is incriminating.
no, no, no.
That's,
That is not right. There are certain parts of anybody's file that
yes,
contain possible difficulties with the nation,
friends.
and some of it probably, but it will be obvious, will be redacted because it's
Well,
dangerous for the nation. Let's put it that way. But it's very little. You'll be able to tell if he's pulling the wool over
okay,
your eyes.
let me give something very little. Clinton, he's tiny.
Oh, Bill.
Yeah. Why is he
Monica's
not? Why
Bill.
hasn't he been arrested?
Oh, well, he's a Democrat for a start. That helps no end. Uh,
Okay.
he, he got away with everything, did Bill?
What could
Did
be
not have sex with that woman. Come on,
Monica?
Monica.
What? Listen. Let me ask you this. You said there's some files that Pam. Oh God, even her name makes me shiver. Pam Bondi can hold back, and you say they could be a danger to the world. What could be in those files that could be a danger to the world?
Well, there are sensitive things to national security.
Yes, yes.
Every nation can say, well, we're not letting this one go. We're putting it on a 30-year hold, if you like.
Yeah.
No, it will be obvious whether it's a cover up. Believe you me.
Oh, you don't think it's a cover? You don't think so? All these girls standing, hold on, all these girls standing outside in Washington, who were there, some of them were 12, some were 14, some were 16, etc. All of these girls are at loggerheads at the moment with Trump because he called the whole thing a hoax. Can you
These are
imagine how they
paid.
feel after them
These
being
are
raped?
paid for people. Let's call them by
Ah!
the Dems.
Hold
It's
on a minute. Trump's
standard
on
in
the
the
line. Hold
States.
on. Trump's on the line. Oh yeah, he just said thank Rodney for that. Yes, they're right.
That's all right.
Every one of them are paid. What? Okay, let's say they're all paid. What about the ones that were all raped? Where are they?
There is what I call the Gen Z set
Yes.
problem, both sides of the pond. and they will believe anything. If they believe Zach, who is the leader of the Green Party in the United Kingdom, which is actually growing, they'll believe anything. Now, that problem, because it's extremely left, the Green Party, is almost democratic in America.
What's that got to do with Epstein?
Well, we're talking about a guy that's been dead quite a number of years now. We've got to assume that what's going to be released now, I repeat, Maurice, it's going to be plainly obvious.
What happens to the victims?
The
They
victims
not
of
yeah,
abuse.
of rape, abuse, of
That's abuse, is rape.
okay, well, you can call it whatever you want. What happens is they not
By
have any
whom?
by who raped them?
Yes.
It's in the files, but it had been held back.
Yes, but there are various contingencies, let's call them, about rape. Now, it could be consensual, it could be forced. Asked Andrew Mountbatten. He knows.
You want to, that girl has been murdered a few weeks ago. Where Epstein has been murdered. For what reason was Epstein murdered? To shut his mouth.
Well, that's another accusation you've made. But I tell you what, Maurice, you should have conspiracy theorists pinned to
I'm not a
your forehead.
conspiracy theorist. Sorry. I listened to one of the prisoners that shared a cell with Epstein. And here's what he said. Here's what he said. There's no way he could have committed suicide. You could jump from the top bunk with a sheet around your neck, but you'd need to be a midget. How do you think for? And then the camera stopped at that moment. All of a sudden, that minute was missing.
These are conspiracy theories. There's no proof. Find me the proof.
So, okay, let's go look at the other conspiracy. He committed suicide.
Yes.
Which one's the right one? Using her brain.
I suppose Ghislaine will know. Ask her.
She didn't kill him. Anyway, look, I am only one thing that I think is good. You know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is, don't you? She's a senator, a Republican senator, and you could not say boo about Trump and she'd eat the head off you.
Oh,
She
I
was
know who you mean now, yes.
Yeah, she was an absolute, almost like a sister to Trump. And Trump has turned on her, called her a traitor, called her everything possible. She's just resigned today from the Senate. Do you know what her crime was? Sticking up for the victims.
Well, there you go. You've got to follow your conscience, your soul. I tell you what, by following our conscience and our soul, let's move on to higher things. Ukraine. Now, there's a real problem. There's 28 conditions that Trump has said we can make a move with Putin on. And Zelensky's almost admitted, golly, I'll have to come up with something because we're not going to get US backing if I don't.
Zelensky hasn't got a choice. And Trump knows it. He's in a corner now. He hasn't got a choice. You must remember that Trump blamed Zelensky for starting the war. Trump has never, during this war, let's just go quickly to Alaska. In Alaska, he went to greet Putin. Now, everyone thought he would have a confrontation with Putin, the same as he had with Zelensky. Come on now, Putin, stop this war. Stop it now, blah, 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 etc., etc. What he got, Putin, he got the exact same as the King of England would get when he arrives in America. Red carpet, flyby, jets, beautiful jets flying, people clapping, band playing, Trump almost kissing him, didn't quite, but almost kissed him. This is a mass murderer, and mass murderer. But after that Alaska meeting, Trump went back in front of the cameras when asked by the press, how did it go? And he said, I gave it 10 out of 10. That night, Putin increased the bombing on Russia, on Ukraine, by saying to Trump, see, I don't care a word you say.
Again,
Trump
we're
is ne-
talking conspiracy. You can't throw these things around, Maurice.
well, what do you mean? What's a
Zelensky
conspiracy?
was that Zelensky was guilty of starting the war. That is nonsense.
No, excuse me, you didn't hear me. Clean your ears. I said Trump accused Zelensky of starting the war. So there you are. So he was always. We all know he was always on Putin's side. You know that. He always said, I'm going to increase severe sanctions in 2 weeks." He has this famous 2 week thing that he doesn't do. 2 weeks. It's like when he said that he fabulously got the agreement with Hamas to hand back the hostages. Wonderful. Praised them to bits, I did. But the other condition was to disarm. And if you don't disarm, we're coming in to do it. They haven't disarmed. They don't care.
I tell you, I am worried, as a lot of people are, about the state of the game over there because Putin, as you rightly said, is a mass murderer. He's not a nice bunny. In
He's
fact,
a dictator.
he's probably worse than that.
Yeah.
And you cannot show weaknesses to dictators, as you well know. And I believe that if this goes through, it will be weakness because
If
Ukraine,
what goes through? If what goes through?
if the agreement, the 28-point agreement, if it goes through, I believe that there's every chance of Putin, because he's already said it actually. It's a basis of an agreement, said Putin. That means he wants more land and he wants to renegotiate when they've given in.
Okay, let me put it this way. From day one, I've said that Putin's ambition is to take all of Ukraine, to reestablish the Russian Empire, and to him to be the emperor. That is his ambition, not for a bit of land. How would have felt during the Second World War if, when at the height of when Nazis were winning everything, say to England, yeah, we want this part of England, we want to own that. That we should expect England or Churchill to, okay. What, the only problem is with Zelensky, if America pull out and stop supporting them, there's going to be mass murder of the poor Ukrainians, the innocent ones. Over 5 million are unhomed at the moment there.
I know we have got a correspondent in Kiev and we get the truth through him. And I don't like what I'm hearing. Yes, Putin is extremely dangerous. I don't think we should give way to him at all.
Not 100%. I agree with you 100%. But what choice has Zelensky got?
I'll tell you the real problem, in my humble opinion, and that is Europe. Europe could not organize a riot in anything. There's too many opinions. All it is Brussels dictating, talking about dictatorship. I'm so glad that we're out on any terms out of Kingdom of Europe. All they're
Well,
interested in is themselves and Brussels passing laws. Europe have the capacity, but they will never get things together.
Europe is broke financially. Europe is broke financially. England, well, it's the new name, of course, the state of Palestine, England. It's in a terrible state an extraordinary state at the moment.
It is.
It seems that the world has shut its eyes to what was going on, and now it's too late. Now it's too
I
late.
hope you're wrong, but you may well be.
So do I. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But, all it takes, if there's 100 people in a city and 10,000 people from another country come to that city, that 100 people have no chance of having anything. They will take everything. And that's always been a plan. But anyway,
Maurice, to cheer you up, there's something else we probably agree on.
women.
Part of the 28 items in the agenda is the fact that America are going to become very rich out of this. They've told Russia, first of all, that they have to put in a certain amount of billions of rubles to reconstruct the damage they've done in Ukraine. They should be made to do the whole lot.
They've never listened to one one word that Trump has ever said. Okay, let me give you my belief, the whole thing. I'll give you my belief. This is not a belief, what I did write about this morning. My belief is that Putin has said to Trump, I'm going to give you 1 week to stop arming Zelensky, or I'm going to open up about what I have on you. That's my belief. I might be wrong.
Well,
Why did he say he's going to make up his mind by Tuesday?
I thought it was Thursday actually, but never mind.
Oh, sorry, 2 days early. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not much time to get the act together. I am really worried about it. More worried
Terrible.
than the deal that Donalds has done with Gaza. And that's been insoluble for 4,000 years. But I am really concerned about the Russian thing. Yes, we could be on the edge of the war, as the Trump man told Zelensky when he was invited over nearly 12 months
There
ago.
won't be a war. One war and the world's over. So no one's going to do that. They're not going to win anything if they start a war. Number one. And number two, let's talk about the disaster of the world, and much bigger than in Gaza, much bigger almost than in Ukraine, is what's going on in Sudan. Is it Sudan or Somalia? I mixed up with the two of them. In Sudan today, 225 schoolgirls were taken by the what you
Yes,
call
it's
them.
awful in Sudan.
Yeah, but they're massacring people. If you want to know what, I've often been the people who have a go at me, and there's more people having a go at me than supporting me. But they talk about genocide, and we have a total misunderstanding what genocide is. Genocide is, for example, on October the 7th, when Israel was attacked, on October the 9th, the war would have been over if Israel committed genocide. There wouldn't be 2,300,000 people still living if they committed suicide. Genocide is when someone like Assad did in Syria. 500,000 he wiped out in 5 minutes. That's a genocide. These were not military, these were ordinary citizens. There was no purpose but for him to wipe them out. That's genocide.
But don't forget the problem is in Nigeria.
For the Christians, yeah.
Yeah, and nobody does anything about it, no interest.
No march. Where's the marches?
Exactly.
Where's the marches against Russia? Where's the marches against the Nigerian? Where's the marches for the help the people in Sudan? The world wars are spreading everywhere. And do you know what they say? It's a horrible thing to say. But unless there was a Jew involved, no one is interested.
Well, they've got the Uyghurs out in China, and they're being really persecuted. That's the Muslims.
Yeah, I know.
And China seems to be getting away with murder all the time. The report's been issued this week, and a 10-year-old child could have reached the same conclusions about who caused the virus. Well, no, that's the thing, Maurice. How did the virus happen? Did we treat it the same way everywhere throughout the world? But I repeat, the key question that should have been asked is who caused it?
No one knows. No one knows.
Yes, they do. Everybody knows it was China.
But people say of China also that they kill Muslims and sell the body parts. There's going to be a huge business in that. But I don't, you hear these things, but without proof.
No, that is a fact. And we've got the evidence and we've done a program on it. And it's not just the Uyghurs. They do that. They do it with the Christians as well.
But they leave the Jews alone this time, do they?
Well, there's not very many Jews in China.
No, I think that the Jews' body parts, the Jews have charged them too much for them. But honestly, I think that the world, what we really summed up here today, and it's not what we summed up, but the world is in an extraordinarily sad, dangerous position.
And what's caused it, Maurice? Is it social media?
Money.
Well, same
money.
thing.
It says, you mustn't, I don't know if you understand this, the Hamas terrorists that are left there now, they're not going to win anything. They've won the biggest prize of all. They got the world turned on Israel and anti-Semitism. But going on fighting, they're going to win nothing. But why haven't they stopped fighting? It's because they get paid. They're on a salary, a big, nice salary. If any of them get killed, the family gets something like $25,000. So why would they give up the job? Why? Where else would they work? There's no other work for them. There's no other work. Just one thing I
Well,
want.
I'll give you one. That organization is the epitome of evil.
Oh, well, yes, I put ISIS in there with them, and Hezbollah I put in there with them as well. And those Sudan, what you call them, that stole all the girls, schoolgirls, and murdered them, and what have you. I just one thing I'd like to say here. I was talking about what you call it, human shields. Is that what you call when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
human shield? And people don't seem to understand. I wrote about this the other day. They think a human shield is when you grab a child, because I was reading this, and you're behind them with a gun, and the human shield is the child. That isn't what a human shield is. A human shield is exactly as what Hamas do. When you see stage photographs of Hamas, they're in full uniform, okay, and with their green bands, and they wear a mask. The reason they wear a mask is when they are out shooting at or attacking IDF or defending whatever, they do it in civvies, in civilian clothes. You will never, ever, ever see a dead Hamas terrorist in a uniform, ever. They only fight in civilian clothes. That's called human shield, because it's very hard for the IDF to distinguish what is a civilian and what is Hamas. So when the other day, there's many more pro-Palestinian sites have come up since the ceasefire. It's like every day, 10 more have come up. And they announced things like 200 people have died since the ceasefire. 200 Palestinians have died since the ceasefire. I always answer that by saying that I had that same thing that you got from the Gaza health authorities. 200 have been died. They're all Hamas. Because there's never a mention. IDF are one of the highest trade armies in the world, but as far as the publicity that comes out from Hamas, is the Israeli can't kill any Hamas. There's never any mention of a dead Hamas, ever.
Well,
It's all Palestinians.
we've run out of time, Maurice, but one thing we must cover before we go, and that is the COVID. And now it's plain to everybody that they got the modelling wrong. Now, it's not just affecting COVID, it's affecting many things that are going on today.
What did they get wrong?
The modelling of this, they said, oh, there's going to be X amount of people going to die. And when the ordinary people say, let people out, open the doors and windows. No, I'll tell you one country that ignored COVID completely. Not Sweden, although they were certainly better at it. Belarus, completely dictatorship led, and they did absolutely nothing. Now, how many people died in COVID? Well, 1%.
Who got, okay, I'm going to say, so Belarus decided to do nothing, and they announced that
They get 1% deaths, just the same as Britain.
Yeah, okay, they did nothing, and they got 1% death.
Yes.
To show that they were right, okay?
Well,
now, okay, no, let me finish. So who gave that figure of 1%?
These are figures that
from Belarus.
You can't trust from the WHO, but it is recognised that those are facts. And
from who?
It's Maurice, WHO, World Health Organization.
No, but where do they get the figures from?
Well, they have ways of saying to people, if you want to be part of my organization, then you will give us the figures. And they're the best estimates that we have. But it's not just Belarus who did nothing. Many other places did not shut the schools down.
That we live on the Costa del Sol, you know. From Malaga to here, to Estepona, to Gibraltar, say, I don't know, I think the population is 600, 700, let's say 1 million. I don't know what the population is. During COVID, we heard of, unless I misheard, of 1 death. And that was a school teacher from vaccine, This is a school teacher in Marbella. And after the investigation into her death, it was found out that she was suffering from quite a few medical problems. So I got a quite roasting last week because I'm a pro-vaccine person, and the anti-vaxxers, as soon as I open my mouth, they come at me the same as the not the Putin, sorry, the Trumptons. Like, it seems to me I can't say anything except be sweet and nice, and then I'm left alone.
We all know and love Maurice is like that.
Yeah,
Maurice, um,
yeah.
there will be things coming out of the vaccine until we get more reliable evidence. We should keep our mouths shut. But having said that, a lot of people that are accused of being conspiracy artists have been proved right about the COVID.
Well, I know of no conspiracy that's ever been proved right, but I could be proved wrong.
Well,
Well,
there you
what can
go.
I say? You know, I think that I think it's a crazy world. And one thing for sure, like everyone is, I think that it's a crazy world we're living in, and America makes it even more crazy. Troops on the street. You know, I watched um, I watched Trump's wife, what's her name, Melania, and J.D. Vance's wife. He's the vice president's wife. I watched both of them um, showing support for the army, the American military. They were giving a speech. And first of all, Melania was talking with a broken foreign accent because she's not from America. And Norris Vance's wife is not from America. And as they're talking, immigrants have been thrown out of America. It seemed, it just seemed a little weird to me, the whole thing.
There are legitimate people and illegitimate people like we
And
have
they're all,
in Great
yes, and
Britain. But there
yeah,
you
no,
go. That's it. That's for another day. We shall wish you well. You're losing your light, and we won't be able to see you shortly. Now,
that's good
that could
news.
be a good. Yes, it could be a good thing. So
Okay.
we'll see you very shortly.
Thanks, Rodney, and keep well, keep healthy, and it's always good to disagree with you. Thank you.